Released on June 15, 2025, episode 1133 of One Piece, titled, To Save His Daughter, Kuma the Timid Pacifist, is a pivotal chapter in the Egghead arc, the first major arc of the series' final saga. Adapted from Eiichiro Oda's sprawling manga, this episode delves deeper into Bartholomew Kuma's tragic backstory, focusing on his desperate quest to save his daughter, Jewelry Bonnie, from the deadly sapphire scales disease. I was intrigued by the promise of blending Kuma's emotional turmoil with the political machinations of the Sorbet Kingdom, but could this episode shift gears from the relentless sorrow of prior installments to deliver a balanced and impactful narrative? Picking up from episode 1132's heart-wrenching depiction of Ginny's death and Kuma's vow to raise Bonnie, episode 1133 follows Kuma's fierce defense of the Sorbet Kingdom against King Bikori's tyrannical purge of the poor. Fueled by rage, Kuma single-handedly storms the palace, toppling Bikori's forces. The episode then shifts to Kuma's journey to find a cure for Bonnie's illness, leading to a fateful meeting with Dr. Vegapunk, who offers hope at a devastating cost. Meanwhile, Bonnie's accidental consumption of the age fruit adds an unexpected twist. The episode ends with Kuma's exile as a labeled tyrant, setting the stage for his transformation into a pacifista. Episode 1133 advances the Egghead arc by deepening Kuma's backstory, a cornerstone of the final saga's exploration of the world government's cruelty. Kuma's overthrow of Bikori is a major turning point, showcasing his strength and moral conviction, while his meeting with Dr. Vegapunk marks the beginning of his tragic bargain to save Bonnie. The revelation of Bonnie's age fruit consumption introduces a new layer to her mysterious powers, raising questions about its connection to Kuma's deal with Vegapunk. I think the episode effectively balances action and emotional stakes, fulfilling its role in building Kuma's path to becoming a pacifista. However, the pacing feels uneven. While the action-packed first half is thrilling, the second half's rapid shift to Vegapunk's lab feels abrupt, leaving little room for Kuma's emotional processing of his choices. Kuma, Bonnie, and Dragon are central, with Bikori and Vegapunk in key supporting roles. Kuma's rage-fueled assault on Bikori reveals a fierce, protective side, contrasting his usual gentle demeanor, though I wish his internal conflict over becoming a tyrant was explored more deeply. His quiet determination during the Vegapunk meeting, accepting a grim deal for Bonnie's sake, adds tragic depth, but I'm concerned his stoicism risks flattening his complexity. Bonnie's brief but pivotal moment, eating the age fruit, hints at her chaotic potential, though her limited screen time frustrates me. Dragon's stoic support for Kuma underscores his revolutionary ideals, but his reserved nature feels underutilized. Bikori's cartoonish villainy, while effective, borders on one-dimensional. The characters' actions align with their arcs, but I think Kuma's emotional journey could use more introspection to elevate his growth. The episode explores sacrifice, resistance, and the cost of defying oppressive systems. Kuma's battle against Bikori embodies resistance against tyranny, while his deal with Vegapunk highlights the lengths a parent will go for their child, even at the cost of their humanity. The world government's labeling of Kuma as a tyrant critiques how power distorts truth to maintain control. I really appreciate how the episode uses Kuma's actions to convey the theme of selfless love, particularly in his silent acceptance of Vegapunk's terms, though I'm against the heavy-handed portrayal of Bikori, which simplifies the political drama. The narrative subtly questions whether sacrifice can ever be free of external manipulation, but I think it could lean more into Kuma's moral dilemma to deepen this message. The episode enriches the One Piece world by detailing the Sorbet Kingdom's class divide, with Bikori's purge of the poor highlighting the world government's complicity in regional oppression. The introduction of the age fruit expands the devil fruit lore, suggesting its temporal powers may tie to Bonnie's later abilities. Vegapunk's lab, with its sterile, futuristic aesthetic, reinforces his role as a morally ambiguous genius within the world government's structure. I personally don't understand why the narrative doesn't clarify the sapphire scales disease's origins, but I anticipate it connects to the broader final saga's themes of scientific overreach. The Sorbet Kingdom's chaotic battlefields and Vegapunk's lab add vivid layers to the world's political and technological landscape. The dialogue is impactful but occasionally leans into melodrama. Kuma's defiant roar, "You'll burn no one else," during his assault on Bikori is raw and powerful, capturing his fury, but his later exchange with Vegapunk feels restrained, missing emotional weight. Dragon's brief counsel to Kuma is poignant, emphasizing their bond, but Bikori's taunts are cliched, undermining the political tension. The writing shines in blending action with tragedy, particularly in Kuma's storming of the palace, but I didn't like how the script rushes the Vegapunk meeting, glossing over Kuma's internal struggle. Overall, the writing is strong but could refine its balance of spectacle and introspection to avoid tonal whiplash. Toei Animation delivers a visually stunning episode, particularly in the first half's action sequence, where Kuma's Niku fruit powers are rendered with fluid, explosive motion. The character designs, faithful to Oda's manga, shine in close-ups, like Kuma's anguished eyes as he learns of Bonnie's illness. The Sorbet Kingdom's burning slums, with vibrant oranges and reds, create a visceral sense of chaos, though I noticed minor inconsistencies in background crowds, which feel static. Ryota Nakamura's direction excels in the action-packed opening, with dynamic camera angles tracking Kuma's relentless charge, amplifying his fury. The use of slow motion during his paw-paw attack heightens its impact, though I find the abrupt shift to Vegapunk's lab jarring, with static shots that dull the momentum. The framing of Kuma cradling Bonnie, bathed in soft light, is a tender counterpoint to the violence. The episode evokes a powerful mix of anger, sadness, and hope. Kuma's rampage against Bikori was exhilarating, a cathartic release of his pent-up grief, while his tender moments with Bonnie stirred deep empathy. The meeting with Vegapunk, with its ominous undertones, left me uneasy about Kuma's fate. I was frustrated by the rushed lab scene, which dulled the emotional weight of his sacrifice. The episode leaves a lasting impression, prompting reflection on the cost of love and resistance in an unjust world. I also anticipate the next episodes will delve deeper into Kuma's transformation, keeping me invested in his tragic arc. The episode's core lesson is the profound cost of sacrifice in the face of systemic oppression. Kuma's willingness to trade his humanity for Bonnie's life reflects the lengths one will go for love, while his defiance of Bikori suggests that true strength lies in resisting injustice, even at great personal cost. The narrative urges viewers to question the morality of systems that force such choices, a timeless meditation on sacrifice and agency. Episode 1133 of One Piece is a compelling blend of action, tragedy, and political drama, elevated by stunning animation, powerful performances, and rich world-building. Its strengths lie in Kuma's fierce heroism, the visceral Sorbet Kingdom battle, and the poignant setup of his tragic bargain. However, I didn't like the uneven pacing and rushed lab scene, which temper the emotional depth. The episode achieves its goal of advancing Kuma's backstory and setting up his transformation, but its tonal shifts could be smoother. I think it's a strong entry in the Egghead arc, and I anticipate the coming episodes will explore Kuma's sacrifice and Bonnie's powers with greater nuance, solidifying this arc as a standout in the final saga.